My biological sister and I was with our biological family until we were with a foster mother for probably for a year, and then and I was 6 years old, and my sister was 8, and then after a whole year, we were adopted to Minneapolis Airport, and our family was from Marathon, Wisconsin, and they came in over to pick us up at the Minneapolis airport, but they actually lived in Marathon, Wisconsin. Information I was told is that my biological father was not feeling very well, and we had 4 half siblings, and then also he ended up with 3 daughters. That with it was the same father but different dad, and he decided to give my sister up for adoption for a better life. And also another thing they told us that he did ask our oldest half brother to take care of us, and he said no because he made that decision. He decided it was best for us to be adopted in America. That was my biological father's wish to give us a better life. That he told the Eastern Services that he wants us to be adopted in America. And then when I was reunited with my sister, I confirmed that information, and she said that was true. That was the right information. My biological mother, we were told that they were not married, but my mother was like a housekeeper, and they fell in love, and they ended up with 3 daughters. And also found out that they were together all this time, and I didn't know that because I thought they were separated. But my other biological sister, she's the oldest, she told us that they were together all this time. My adopted family, my dad used to be a cheesemaker, and then my mom, that time, she was a homemaker. She stayed home and took care of the kids, but then later on, she went back to school to be a teacher. And they also had 4 of their own children, for 2 girls and 2 boys. And one daughter, the youngest, she passed away, and she was hit by a car. But they told us that they all adopted children after the 4 kids. And it was a small community, about 1,400 people, so it was very close-knit. I didn't feel like I was like outcast. They seemed to be very welcoming, because the town my dad was living there, he was like born and raised in that town, so he practically knew everybody who was living in that town. And so I feel like they accepted us, and I only know there was another family Korean adopted kids too, but I never feel like I could relate to them, because I felt like I was white. I often felt like I was white. I never thought I was actually Asian, so until later on in life. And then also, I think it really helped was my biological sister being there for me all the time. She was 2 years older, but I feel like she gave up a lot of her childhood to protect me, because my mom said that when we came over, she would not let anybody touch me, and she tasted all the American food, and if she didn't like it, she would take it off my plate. So she was very overprotective and make sure that I was okay and happy, and so I feel like she gave up a lot of her childhood to end up being like a mother figure to me. And And then also my parents have like a friend that their kids were around our age, and we often play with their kids. There were three boys, so I didn't, and I felt like I was welcome by them, and we've been friends for many, many years. My parents, my mother talked about it, but not much, just a little bit, in saying that we were adopted from Korea, but we didn't really um, try to embrace the heritage and also the difference. And so I feel like I was just, because my family is mostly German, so I was kind of mostly immersed in the German heritage. Then, and also the closest thing we got to being Asian was eating Chinese food, so it wasn't really the same. So, so it's not. I feel like my family didn't really try to find more information about my heritage or my culture. I think she just accepted that we adopted you and you're just part of our family. In school, I feel like I got along pretty well with the other kids because I'm very outgoing and talkative, and also I joined a lot of sports, so I think that really helped a lot because I was in cheerleading and volleyball and track, so I was very outgoing and doing other sports. And to me, I feel like joining all those sports, that I got to know other kids better. First time I went back to Korea was 2002, and I was with the Korean Overseas Foundation with the Korean government, and we got to stay at the Hanguk University, and that was program from the Korean government that all international adoptees could join for a free scholarship, and you just pay for the airfare. So for the first time, to see different Korean adoptees around the world instead of just they're just speaking in English. So I got to see Australian, British, French. So that was I was mind blowing experience because I didn't realize that they were not just adopted in America, but around the world. So, and then I got to make new friends, and also that program was very good because they do sightseeing and they teach you the Korean language courses for a little bit, and then Taekwondo. So that was the first time I got to experience the whole country. And even though I was adopted 6 years old, I don't have any memories of what my life was before then. But my sister, who's 2 years older than me, she remembers everything. That she remembers our whole family back in Korea with our whole family, our sister and our parents. I knew that with my adoption papers, I have my parents, their names. I have my biological parents' names and also my mom's names. And I have the family registry, which is kind of strange because usually a lot of Korean adoptees don't have that. But I have the paper saying my both parents' names and my name. And so without even making an appointment, I kind of showed up at Eastern Services with another person that adoptee that he was going to bring a child back for somebody else. So him and another girl, we all went to Eastern Services. Then I gave the paper to the social worker, and then she went to the basement, and probably, 20 minutes, she brought the whole file. And then she asked me, what do you want to do? Do you want to search for your family? And I said, yes. And then she asked me, well, how long are you going to stay? And I said, well, only 2 more days. And then she said to me, you should have told me earlier because you could have saw your family before you left. So she was very like certain that I will find them. And I heard that they also provided like social security numbers, just like we have in America. And so she was very certain that they would find them. And then 3 days, I came back to Minnesota. They told me they found my family. So I was very excited to find my family. Then they said that they found my sister, so my other biological sister that's older than my other sister. So we corresponded letters for a couple years, but I actually didn't get to see her until 2004. I went back to Korea with Pastor Park's program called Korean Adopting Ministry. It's a free scholarship, airfare, and you stay with the whole host family. I did arrange so I could see her. And the first time I got to see her, it was very overwhelming. And to just to see another person that besides my sister that act and talks like you, and also to find out that my parents both died, which that would have been very like shocking to me if they were living, because all my life I just thought they passed away, but to find out that they lived longer than I thought they would. So that time, I think my mom died like 5 years ago, and my dad died 10 years ago. So if I knew that they were still living, I think I would have like searched sooner to get the opportunity to see them and to know that they were together all this time. I just thought that was amazing, you know. And my sister, she was telling me that what happened was she remembers is that day because she was not at home that time for some reason, and then the next day she came back home that she said our father put out for adoption. So my dad didn't even tell my sister about that he was going to do that. So she told me she wasn't very happy about that. And once she saw me, she knew it was me, and she was very excited to be reunited with me. And the only thing that was very hard is that the language. I don't know Korean anymore, even though I was 60 years old and my sister and I was talking in Korean. Really, of course, we lost the language, and that was I feel like that was the most frustrating, is the language, not understanding what she was all saying. And the translation was lost because there was a social worker, then my pastor was there, and she was there, and then she brought her kids. So it was like a lot of things being said, but I feel like I didn't understand, more than half of what you're saying. Well, there's some things I do like about Korean, some things I don't. But overall, I feel that I feel like I'd be a different person if I wasn't adopted, and to become the person I am right now. And so I feel like I don't really like hate Korea or love Korea. I'm just kind of in a middle, and to know how Korea is now today, how they're goal oriented, and how I know number one thing is plastic surgery. And so in the same sense, I'm glad I'm in America too, that I have an opportunity to have a better life and a better job. And in the same sense, of course, if I had a choice to be with my family, I would choose that. But for knowing how Korea is now, it's in the same sense, I'm kind of glad that I'm in America, because how they're driven to be perfection. if I have a choice to be with my biological family, yes, I would. Definitely, I would wish that. But in the same sense, I'm not hating not being adopted because just to know how the country is, how they are driven to be perfection, and how they're driven to be number one. And in the same sense, I'm glad I'm adopted in America. But even though I'd be more than love to be raised with my own family, so it's kind of like love and hate. I mean, it's kind of hard to choose because of knowing how Korea is now, it's so different than America that it's kind of like, I'm not like hating it or loving it, but it's kind of like I'm in the middle. And if I get to choose, of course, I would choose to be with my family. But to knowing how family history is so important in Korea, and also to have your parents to be married, and my parents were never married, that for me, I will never have the opportunities I have in America. To knowing that your background is so important to how you get your job and getting married and schooling, that how that is so important that your family is together. And in America, you have opportunity. It doesn't matter what background you come from. My feelings about for my adopted family is that I do love them and care for them, but I feel like sometimes they don't understand how I really feel and that deep inside, and it's very hard to have that conversation because I know Germans are not very showing how their true feelings are, and especially with my mother, that anything I'm gonna say to upset her, she usually doesn't want to talk about it. So it's very hard to have a deep relationship and really talk about that, because she still thinks that, which is not a bad thing, that she still thinks that I'm one of her kids, but doesn't think that I'm any different than her other kids. That she still think, to me, I perceive it as like she still thinks that I'm white. She doesn't say I'm Asian. She just thinks that I'm very simple, and that she just thinks that that I'm out and happy all the time, and she doesn't see the other side of me, that how I that struggles with I even still struggle to this day of who I am.
So what would you want her to know about you?
To know that about me, that I'm not all the time happy all the time, that I'm that I have my moments, that that I think about my biological family, that how they're doing, and what they are like, and what would have been, and like any adoptee fantasize what would have been like if you were not adopted. And also to come to understanding that, I know instead of being labeled that I'm their child, but I'm something else too. I'm not just that label, that I'm a Korean adoptee, and very independent, and also very involved in the Korean adoptee community. That so like sometimes I help out adopters and AK and CAM, that my parents don't know about that. My advice to adopted parents would be that when you adopt a child from a different country, that be sensitive what you say and do, because they're not that. Also, you could say they're special, but then also bring out the how unique they are. They're not just you adopted them, but then also don't push. If the child doesn't want to, if they're not comfortable, like I know there's a lot of culture camps that you could bring your child to, and if your child is not ready to do that, don't push it upon them, because sometimes I hear some young clean adoptees that they don't want to do that, and each person is to their own terms. And for me, for personally, when I was growing up, I wish I had that. And I never had the opportunity to go to culture camps, which I think that would have made a big difference in my life. If I had the opportunity to meet more queen adoptees besides my own sister, and also to learn about the culture and the language and meet other adoptees. That would have enriched my life.